Hi everyone, today we are going to be filling my cortisol pump. I am Michelle and this is my assistant Eli. He's going to be helping me out filling up my Medtronic 630g with Solu-cortef. So anyways, let's get started. So Eli, what was the very first thing that we did before we even sat down here? And we just do with our hands?
Wash them.
We washed our hands. Super important before you do anything with your pump. Wash your hands. So we need to figure out all the supplies we need for this project that we're doing here, our pump refilling. Okay, so here's all my supplies for my pump. So Eli, do you remember what all we need to refill the pump? Okay, we need 3 of those because my pump holds 3 milliliters. Yes, we are going to need some sterile water. This is the sterile water with the purple cap. Eli has selected, hold on, go a little slower, buddy. This is a Sure-T inset. This is a Sure-T 6mm inset, which we actually are not going to need just to refill the pump. If I was doing a new site today, we would totally need that. This is a reservoir. This is a 3 milliliter reservoir. Boom. Excellent. Good job, Eli. Okay, so what else are we going to need? We're going to need some tubing because I'm not changing my site today. I have some separate tubing that I can use. Otherwise, the tubing would be inside the little package with the site.
Yes, we need alcohol swabs?
Yes, we are going to need alcohol swabs. Good noticing, Eli. So in my package, I have a whole thick ton of alcohol swabs, and I also have some hand sanitizer because that's always a good thing to have.
And batteries.
There's batteries in here, which we're not going to need the batteries today, but I try to have everything I could possibly need in my supply bag. So those are the things that we are going to need. Oh, we forgot the syringes, dude. Hey, we don't have to open that just yet. We'll keep everything together because everything does get kind of chaos once you get all of the supplies out. There's our little pile of supplies. We are going to need a syringe for mixing up everything. So the kind that I have been using, these aren't really my favorite, but these are the BD brand 3 milliliter syringe. This is a 26 gauge needle. It's a 1 inch. So there's all of that information, probably kind of blurry. Sorry about that. And those are the supplies that we are going to need. Okay, so here we have all of our stuff. So what do we need to do first, Eli? Do you know?
Get these out the boxes.
Yes, we need to take these out of the boxes.
Upside down.
I always take them out upside down. That's the side that has the date, the expiration date, and the lot number on it. That way you don't have this little paper that you have to pull out, because then you have all these boxes and all of these papers with every single vial, and that's kind of annoying. So this is empty.
Wait, why don't you open the boxes and I take off the tops?
Okay, and Eli's going to take off the yellow tops. Excellent job. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll get it after the video.
And that.
Okay, I got this one. Okay, so now we have our 3 little Solu-cortefs.
Now we need an alcohol swab.
Oh yeah, we need an alcohol swab.
And then you have to
You have to rub it. Yeah.
Yes.
We're sanitizing, and they call that scrubbing.
Oh.
So we're going to scrub the top of them. Make sure everything's nice and sterile. Excellent job, Mr. Eli. Thank you. Okay, now we need this, right?
Yes. Now that's
all right, cool.
Hard to open. Let me just,
Yeah, you can sanitize that one too, just for safety. Okay, so then we need this guy, right? This is our BD syringe that we're using for mixing. Cool. So what do we want to do with the syringe before we take the top off of it? There's something that we need to do with it.
Twist it.
Okay, whoops, you twisted it the wrong way.
Sorry.
Okay, so typically they put these on here just a tiny bit loose, and sometimes that's just loose enough to prevent you from
stabbing yourself.
No. Sometimes it's loose enough to where you can't draw up the sterile water. So I always just make sure that it's on there kind of tight. So then I'll go ahead and do it this time. Okay. So you want to stick this straight at a 90-degree angle right in the center of your sterile water. Hold it upside down, and you want to make sure the tip of your needle is below the water line in here, or else nothing's going to go in there. So we're just going to slowly draw. Let's see if I can. Okay, friends. We're slowly going to draw up more liquid until we get to 3 milliliters, because I have 3 milliliters in my pump. If you have a different amount, you will draw up to the maximum amount that your pump or your reservoir holds. Okie dokie. Okay, so the next we need to put this into our little vials of Solu-cortef. And I'm going to switch this back around how it was. Okie doke. Okay, so again, you want it exactly at a 90-degree angle right in the very center. And the center of these vials is much smaller because the vials are much smaller. And so you are just going to put 1 milliliter in there. So go from your 3 to your 2. And that's it. So Eli, you want to shake this around?
Sure.
Typically the instructions are to roll the vial and not to shake it. That's because shaking it creates some bubbles. Go ahead and keep shaking it, dude. I'm explaining. The shaking does create some bubbles, but I find that it mixes it a lot better. There's much less chance of forming crystals, undissolved crystals in there when I shake it. And yeah, there's some bubbles, but those go away really, really fast. So I don't consider that a problem. I understand why it might be best practice if you're instructing like a nurse or hospital staff to roll it. I understand why they have those instructions, but I just find in my own experience, it's a little more effective to just shake it and just let the bubbles kind of make their way out of there. So yeah, then I'll fill up the next one.
If you're ready.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so then we're going to go from the 2 milliliter line down to the 1 milliliter line, and we fill up the next. You want to shake it? Fill up the next vial. Okay. Then the same thing with our last vial. Put that in there. And you want to shake it up?
Man, that was fast.
Yep. Okay, we're now done with our sterile water. I'm going to set that aside.
I'm going to shake this more.
Okay. When you shake it more, you're putting more bubbles in it, and it's going to be that much longer for them to come out. I don't know how well you can see this, but the bubbles are pretty much out already, other than the one that just got reshaken. So, pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw them back out of their vials. So I have put the syringe in at a 90-degree angle, and I've flipped it upside down. I am now drawing the Solu-cortef back out of the vial. Hey, don't touch it. So there's a little window. I don't know if I can get you to see it. There's a little tiny window right here where you can see your needle in there. So you want to make sure that you have your needle in such a way that you can get every little drop of Solu-cortef out, because this is life. These are little drops of life, so I don't want to leave any in the vial. It's important to me. So we're going to do the same thing with the next one, 90-degree angle. Push it in. And then we're going to draw every little last drip of our precious Solu-cortef out of our vial.
Precious life medicine?
Yep, it's our life medicine. Or mine, anyway.
I got no cold life medicine.
Yeah.
That looks like that.
Yeah, you're a lucky boy. Okay, so then on the last one, instead of drawing it all into the syringe, we are just going to push it all into this vial. Everything that's in the syringe is going into the vial. So I'm slowly, and you are going to feel some resistance. There is pressure. There's like 3 vials of pressure into this one vial. And because of that, if I pull out this needle right now, it's going to spray Solu-cortef at me. Which isn't a huge deal, but it's kind of annoying to get sprayed in the face with a bunch of little droplets of Solu-cortef. So how I remedy that is I let go of my plunger top and I let that pressure come back up into the syringe. And I'll just kind of alleviate some of the pressure that's in that vial. So I'm just pulling air back out of it basically. And then no spray. Didn't spray anywhere. Awesome.
Yay.
Okay, I'm gonna cap this. This is done now. Typically how I do this is I will separate my needle from my syringe. My needle will go in my sharps box. My syringe can go in the trash. Okay, so now we have a vial that is containing 3 milliliters of Solu-cortef.
And
then we have our reservoir right here. So we need to get all of this into our reservoir. And by the way, this is a 1:1 ratio that I'm using. That means there is 1 milligram of Solu-cortef for every 1 milliliter or 1 unit. Okay. So this is filling up. You have to go kind of slow with these. You can't just yank them back. Also be careful of this seal because if you pull it too far back, you remember what happens, Eli?
yes, it is chaos.
Oh, it's chaos. It just releases all of your Solu-cortef all over the ground and you have to start over, which is really frustrating, but anywho, you live and you learn.
I did it. It's passed.
Yeah, I've done it too. Don't worry, buddy. Okay. So we're pulling it. Don't worry about tiny little bubbles in there. Those will come out when you prime it. So yeah, don't be scared if you see some little bubbles in there. If you see like a big bubble in there, you do kind of want to push that out because that'll make, I mean, it's not going to hurt you or anything, but it'll just make it less accurate. Okay.
Please don't do that more further.
No, I won't. Okay, so I unscrewed this top and this whole thing can go in the trash just like this.
Can I do the rest?
You want to do the rest?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you do with it from here? Do you remember?
Put this
What
on.
about this thing?
This thing?
Yeah, that thing at the bottom. This bottom part screws off.
Oh.
There we go. Now we have our reservoir. And while you're doing that, I am going to get my pump out. Okay, so here's my pump, my Medtronic 630g, and I am going to start the refill process. So I go to menu. Menu is this button right here, and it wants me to unlock the screen. So then I'm going to go down to reservoir and tubing. Push that. And up here, it says new reservoir. I'm going to put some, do you want to put the tubing on that, buddy?
Oh.
Okay, so I've hit new reservoir. It says remove infusion set from body. So I'm going to do that.
Wait.
Removed my infusion set. Remove reservoir from pump. So, oop. Okay, so here's my old reservoir. Set that aside. So now I need to rewind first before we stick it in there. No, that's not quite on there right, buddy. So we want to really kind of punch it into there. We'll secure it really good. So here is my new reservoir and my tubing. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear this, but it is rewinding. Still rewinding.
Rewind.
Rewind.
Still rewinding.
Sorry for changing the landscape and anyways.
Yeah, we're really sorry.
We're new video makers. We apologize. Okay. So new reservoir. We're gonna say next. It says load reservoir. Select load and hold until complete. Do not connect to body. So we are gonna place it in there. I'm going to screw it in. And then we're going to hold down the load button right there where it says load.
Too bad this is like a mirror, so it just reflects stuff backwards.
That's okay. I think people will figure it out. Okay, so it's like telling me load reservoir complete, do not connect to body, and then the option highlighted says next. We're going to do that. Fill tubing. This is where we prime our pump. Do not connect to body, hold fill until drops appear, then select next. So for this, I'm going to take my tubing. If the tubing is still capped, I'm going to remove the cap from my tubing. And I'm going to keep it on the fill. Sometimes if I'm not really paying attention, I'll hit next without priming the tubing, and that is such a pain because then you have to go back and do everything over again, and I'm not a fan of that. So keep it on fill and you hold it down. Don't take your finger off of it, and you have to watch your reservoir here, and you're looking for little droplet to come, and that's how you know that your tubing is full.
Droplet.
Yep, you see the droplet.
Built down.
Yep, we see it. Okay, at that point you can actually connect it back to your body or your infusion set. And then you can go to the button that says next. Next. And it says fill cannula. Insert infusion set into body. Select fill to fill cannula or done if not needed. Well, because I'm not changing my cannula today, I'm not going to do that. If I was changing my cannula, yeah, definitely you need that sucker filled up. Or else you're going to miss out on some Solu-cortef that your body really needs. But today, we don't need that. So I'm going to select done. Done. All right, program basal delivery resumed. And what I like about the Medtronic is that it remembers that I was running a temp basal, and it goes right back to that. I mean, of course, you can't do that with like an Omnipod because you're having to put a whole new Omnipod, a new pod on, so it doesn't remember that you are running a temp basal or anything like that.
Wait, you had an Omnipod?
Yes, I had Omnipods. I've had Omnipods. I've had Tandem T-Slim, and I've also had, most people don't have these anymore, but I had a Animus Ping also. And I think all of them are really good pumps, and they all have their pros and cons. I mean, with every pump, there's things I would change. With every pump, there's things that I liked. The one I have now, I think is pretty good. It seems to do the job pretty well. And I don't really have any complaints. Like, I do kind of miss being tubeless sometimes. But, I mean, there were other things about Omnipod that were kind of annoying. So, I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, everything has its pros and cons. I mean, in any case, you're connected to a medical device, so it is what it is. I would prefer not to be connected to a medical device, but the thing is, my medical device has saved my life, and I can have like a somewhat normal life now, thanks to that, rather than like being in my bed and being sick and weak all the time. So I'm thankful for my pump, and even though it takes quite a bit of maintenance to keep it going, You know, it's not as easy as just, you know, swallowing a pill and all of that. And sometimes there are instances where you might have to refill your pump in weird spots, like maybe it runs out in the middle of church and you have to go and, you know, sit out in the lobby with all your little supplies and fill up your pump while people are staring at you all scared because you've got needles. And that's just part of life. That's just the rare life.
Life is life.
Yeah, that's what I call it, is the rare life. And we're just awesome that way. So everybody, this is how you refill a Medtronic 630g with a 3 milliliter reservoir. This is how you mix Solu-cortef and fill up your cortisol pump. And I'd like to thank my wonderful assistant, Eli. And we'll talk at you later.